Hey squads, today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about starting a southbound through hike on the Continental Divide Trail. So, first things first, there are two northern terminuses on the Continental Divide Trail. One of them is at Waterton and the other one is at Chief Mountain. Now the Waterton terminus is technically the main terminus, it's on the red line, but like over 50% of people start their through hike at Chief Mountain. And Chief Mountain is easier to get to. It's also shorter and it has like less snow, so it's like easier to start and finish at. So depending on snow conditions. And yeah, and then you really don't have to deal with Canadian Border Patrol either. So let's get into it. Alright, so let's start with the Waterton terminus. The Waterton terminus is in the middle of nowhere. The closest trailhead is just under 5 miles in Waterton Township. Waterton Township is the town inside Waterton National Park, which is the Canadian National Park adjacent to Glacier National Park in America, obviously. So to get to Waterton Township, there really isn't many options. I suppose you could drive yourself, have somebody drop you off. Hopefully you like that person and you can pull a favor, but I don't know. I did see that there was possibly a shuttle from Calgary Airport, but I found conflicting information there, so I'm not sure there. Do your own research, but it might be an option. But I really didn't see much else other than that. Alright, once you get to Waterton Township, you're probably going to want to spend the night because it's been a long day from wherever you're coming from. So, yeah, there's lots of options in Waterton. There's like 5-ish hotels where you can book just on whatever hotel's website, doing your own research there. Or there is a campground where you can book that through the Canadian National Park website, along with 2 backcountry sites that are on that just under 5 mile stretch from Waterton Township to the terminus. So that might also be an option. And you book all that through the Canadian National Park site, which I will link down below. So once you get to the terminus sits on the border between America and Canada. And the American government wants you to report your crossing on the CBP Roam app. That's an app, you can just download it on your phone, and I think you probably need a passport or some other international ID to do that, and you just quickly remote do it, say, hey, I crossed. There might be service there, but like, it doesn't really matter as long as you report it. Other than that, there's also a place in Waterton Township itself where you can report your crossing like 5-ish hours ahead. So that's an option if you don't have a phone or whatever, or if you just want to pre-prepared and not have to worry about it once you get there. Alright, and then your other option is the Chief Mountain terminus, which is simply just the Chief Mountain trailhead in Glacier National Park, which is a trailhead that sits just south of the Canadian border on a road, so it's kind of easy to get to if you have a car or whatever. And if you're worried about, hey, I don't have a passport, whatever, when I was there, because that's the option I chose, the American Border Patrol let us take a picture with the monument. No, they didn't even need to see my passport. I had my passport. They didn't need to see it, and my parents, who dropped me off, were allowed. They didn't have passports, but they were allowed to take my picture with the monument, and as long as you didn't cross like the no man's land and venture past the tree line, because they have that clean-cut tree line or whatever. As long as you don't venture past that and go towards Canada, the Canadian Border Patrol doesn't care. And the Americans will let you back in, no questions asked. Alright, and then if you don't have anybody dropping you off, your best bet for a town to get to is East Glacier. East Glacier is about 100 trail miles south of the terminus, but it's probably your best bet because they have an Amtrak station And the Amtrak will either drop you off at 9:36 in the morning or at 7:48 in the evening, depending on which direction you come from. Now, once you get to East Glacier, to get up to Chief Mountain, there honestly aren't a lot of good options. I did see some possible taxi services floating around, but none of them that I saw were legitimate enough to put into this video, so I don't want to mislead you there. I'm just saying that might be an option. Otherwise, you can always thumbs up for good luck. But just to be warned, that might be kind of difficult, because if you're trying to hitchhike around a national border, people might think you're trying to get across or whatever illegally, so that might be kind of sketch. What I did see a lot of people doing were they got to East Glacier, they started the trail in East Glacier, did the trail northbound up to Chief Mountain, and then once they got to Chief Mountain, that's when they stuck their thumbs up and got a ride back to East Glacier from Chief Mountain. That way, they're south of the border, and any traffic coming across the border knows you're not trying to get across the border. They just know you're good. You're just trying to get back or whatever. So you might have better luck there doing that. And honestly, permit-wise, that might be better, because everybody's trying to get south, and your permit will be the opposite direction. So you might have better luck getting permits that way. Just saying. All right, that brings us to the big question: permits. You are gonna need a backcountry wilderness permit if you plan on spending any time overnight in the backcountry of Glacier National Park. Okay? Now, I do know people who have done this without a permit, but it's logistically complicated, and you have to stick your thumb out a lot and get rides here and there, and they probably were doing it wrong the whole time anyways. So I do not recommend that at all. Get yourself a permit. So permits are currently $7 a night. I don't think it's gonna go up, but who knows, it might. I don't know. But currently, the permit system works on a lottery. This is recent, this past year. When I hiked it, it was not a lottery. Currently, it is a lottery. So, the lottery opens mid-March. It was March 15th. It'll probably be March 15th again, but don't know that for sure. So keep your eyes open. So on March 15 or whatever day they choose, mid-March, you have 24 hours to sign up for the lottery. Now, signing up for the lottery does not mean you get picked for a permit. It just means your name gets put in the pile in which they choose names to give access to people who get permits, okay? So, that's that. And it's not like the PCT where it's a line either. It's just drawn, okay? Okay. So, then after that 24 hours of everybody submitting their names for permits, also you can currently have 8 people on a permit. It used to be 4, now it's 8 according to the website. So if you're planning on hiking with a group and starting with a group, have everybody in your group sign up for the lottery so that you have a better chance. All right, then after everybody has submitted their names, the following day, so if it's on the 15th that the lottery opens, they'll have 24 hours, still till the 16th, to enter your names. And then on the 17th, that's when they notify the people that, hey, you won the lottery. All right? All right. Okay? And then later on that week, so like this past year, it was like the lottery opens on the 15th, they could reserve their sites on the 21st. So like a week after the lottery, that's when the people who won can reserve their sites. And if you win, I recommend getting in there right away on the 21st to get the sites you want, because it probably fills up fast either way. And you need to make sure your sites are all lined up, okay? All right. Alright, and then on your permit, you're going to have to pick your campsites. So, here they are from Chief Mountain: Gable Creek, Elizabeth Foot, Putina Lake, and then you hit the red line and may want to track back to make Glacier. From Waterton: Waterton, Goat Hunt, Kutina Lake, 50 Mountain, Granite, Mini Glacier, Reynolds Creek, Red Eagle Foot, Red Eagle Head, Atlantic Creek, Morning Star, Old Man Lake, Two Medicine, and then East Glacier, which you don't need on your permit. In East Glacier, there's lots of hotels, or at least a handful of hotels, and there's also a hiking hostel there. So, yeah. Alright, and then your starting date is usually after June 15th. If they decide that there's no snow and they're comfortable with people going into the backcountry before then, they'll open it up early, and then they're just first come, first serve on the website. And the website is, of course, recreation.gov. It'll be in the description, along with Glacier National Park's website and the information on the permits. But, like, to get the permits, you need to go to recreation.gov. I know, I'm sorry. But this is not my time to tell you how much I hate recreation.gov. Your ideal window to start is probably June 15th through July 15th. Mid-June through mid-July, depending on snow, obviously. If there's not much snow, earliest as possible is probably your best bet. Because after, I don't want to tell you how to hike, but like, you're probably going to want to start early because you have an entire trail to do, and you're going south, and there's going to be snow in Colorado. I started on like June 21st, and there was snow in Colorado. I mean, we hiked through, it was fine, but like, when it starts to snow in Colorado, you need to get out of Colorado. So yeah, it put a bit of a damper on the Colorado experience. So, but that's not here or there. Okay. Alright, anyways, let's get back to permits. So if you missed the lottery, or you did not get selected for the lottery, don't worry, 30% of the permits are withheld for walk-ups. And what a walk-up is that during the permit season, June 15th to the 30th, that the permits for people who walk up and get a permit, they release for the following day. So if like you show up on a Monday, you can get permits for a Tuesday to start hiking, but not a Wednesday. But if you start hiking on a Tuesday, you can get permits for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you have to be like a little bit flexible for like when you like starting how many miles you do, but like as your trip goes on, you can probably play around with it more and get the sites you want. But like for like the sites that you are starting with, there's gonna be more constricted there because like people who have like a 5-day trip might have those sites already, if that makes sense. Which is why you might want to start your hike in East Glacier, because then you go the opposite way as everybody else, so like you'll have easier picking your sites, and then once you get to the northern part, you can choose your miles better, if that makes sense. It might be an option for you. Just throwing that out there. Alright, and then if you got a permit through the lottery, you can pick up your permit the day of or the day before you leave from the ranger station, and you need to do this in person because that's the only way the park rangers will accept your permit. And I got permit checked twice in Glacier National Park, so it's a thing, trust me. Also, if in the lottery you don't exactly get what sites you want, when you're going to pick up your permit, they might be able to have availability from the walk-ups, or somebody canceled, where they can switch that out for you and have it. So it's better to have a permit than not have any permit at all going in, I guess. I actually did change my permit when I was going through Glacier National Park, actually in the middle of it, which is something you can do as long as you get to the ranger station by 4:30. because that's when all the ranger stations close. And I did that in 2 minutes because like the original campsite I was supposed to stay at, I got there at like, I think before noon, and I'm just like, I'm not waiting out around here all day. I can do another 10 miles or whatever it was to 2 medicines, and I got there before 4:30, so I was fine. I think that was a 24-mile day, and like even if I didn't, I would have just had I guess I would have been screwed. But at 2 medicines and Mini Glacier, there's also something called the hiker biker site, that you can stay at, but I think staying at that site itself, if you have like a string of permits, will like make your permit invalid for anything going on in the future. But like 2 medicines is the last site you stay at in Glacier, so it didn't really matter either way for me. Yeah, otherwise it would have been like another 12 miles out of the park, I think. I don't want to do the math right now. But yeah, other than that, there's not much else to say. If you do get walk-ups, I do recommend you get there as soon as the ranger station is open. I believe it's 7 a.m. If not, it's 8. I believe it's 7 a.m. though. Alright, and then that's it for Glacier National Park. But right after Glacier National Park, there is something called the Barb Marshall Wilderness, which is like 100-mile stretch you have to do with nothing there. It's a wilderness stretch. There is a town like 130, 120 maybe miles in, but it's on a dirt road, and there was a shuttle driver when I did it. I did not go into that town. I did not take that shuttle, so I know basically nothing about it. But during peak SOBO season, pretty much everybody I knew went into that town, other than me, because I'm crazy. But yeah, there's also ways to make this stretch of trail shorter while still qualifying as a thru hike. The first option you have is something we dub the Mariah Carey, because from East Glacier to Mariah Pass, it's 15 miles, and you can slack pack that. Just stick out your thumb and get a ride over to Mariah's Pass and hike right back to East Glacier. Why did I blank on that? Or you can do it the opposite way too. When I was doing it, I was kind of having a bit of trouble hitching out of East Glacier, but like, I'd rather be stranded in East Glacier than at Mariah's Pass. So yeah, you can do it either way. It really doesn't matter. And then in the bob itself, there is the Spotted Bear alternate. Everybody I knew took that alternate, and that one cut off 9 miles, I want to say. There was also an alternate that a lot of us found that was not on far out, that cut off about a mile, like on day one of the bob. Yeah, because we all camped at the same stream. So it's an option for you. It was I guess it was on Lays, and somebody found it, and everybody knew about it literally in hours. So cut off like a mile. So you have options, and yeah, that's that. And then, all right, and then after that, resupply should get a lot easier. I mean, it's not gonna be as easy as like the Appalachian Trail, but it's gonna be still a lot easier than it was during those first 300 miles. So yeah, at least that's something. And you won't have to worry about permits again until Yellowstone. So good luck with that. Yeah, so I hope that helps cover the start of the trail. I guess that's like 10% of the trail right there. So like, if you need help after that, good luck. And yeah, I guess that's all I have for you. So until next time, I'll see you out there. Peace.